Welcome to a new video. Flip phones are getting more and more popular. I think they're, for the average user, the most popular foldable phone that is available currently on the market. And I have now the chance here, thanks to Trading Shenzhen, to test out the Oppo Find N3 Flip against my trusty old Huawei P50 Pocket. So let's get started. So here we have Timmy, and there we have these two devices that you can see here. Hey, where's the focus? There we go. And yeah, those two devices, as you can see here, I have a case on both of them. So I have a white case on my P50 Pocket because this is the P50 Pocket Premium Edition that has like this very nice kind of pattern. But it's a bit of golden and shiny, and yeah, usually I have it in this case, so it's not so goldy and shiny. And we have the original case that the Oppo Find N3 Flip comes with, at least the Chinese version that I got here from Trading Shenzhen. So if you're interested in importing this from China, you can get this, of course, on Trading Shenzhen, and there's also, I think, a €5 discount code for you that you can use for getting this. Otherwise, let's take a look at those. What we can see first on first glance is this almost I think it is 3-inch or 2-point-something inch display here on the front of the Oppo Find N3 Flip. And we have like two camera bumps. No, this is a display here on the P50 Pocket that I can also wake up. There you see a nice animation there as well. I can unlock with my fingerprint or with the back cameras, which is quite nice. And we have various different options here, like for example, camera, a calendar, another calendar that shows me the weekday, and the temperature here and weather report. I can also scroll down here to see the weather changing in various different. You can see there's rain coming at 1 o'clock there, and there we see the other days, for example, which is quite nice. So we have a little bit of limits here. We have more widgets. I have to open up the phone, but when I do this, you will see immediately that this is pretty limited. So we have only the mirror there as widget that we can add, so nothing more. They're pretty limited in this regard. And let's take a look at the Oppo Find N3 Flip. Here we have a very large screen already. Yeah, what we have here is the camera button. We have the temperature as well. I can click on it. I get even like the same kind of widget. Basically, this tells me about the weather, but I can see more on first glance. I can go back there. I can open up the camera if I want to, so the same kind of way, and I have a step counter there as well. No data currently. I can scroll up to see my notifications. By the way, this is of course possible here as well on the Find N3 on the P50 Pocket. Let's get it like this. So no, I don't want to change the theme. I can scroll down and I see like all my notifications. I can clear them as well, which is quite nice. Here I have to scroll up to see notifications. I can scroll to the side to see all my applications, and we have way more applications. So besides the weather and events, we have a music player, a quick game recorder here, a timer that we can set, to-do, so that we can see some Chinese apps as well, health app, beauty cam that I can use if I want to, internet browsing I can do here. I can call someone from this one, Alipay I can use, alarms, calculator, so if I want to calculate something quickly, this is possible without opening up, and WeChat Pay, of course. As I said, it's a Chinese device, so you have to use WeChat Pay there, or you can use WeChat Pay. Scrolling down, I have various other settings, like for example, I can control the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, go into airplane mode, such things, without even opening up the device. I can also raise the display brightness here if I want to, of the front display, which is quite nice. I can even like turn on or turn off the automatic rotation, so it will rotate. Especially useful probably in apps. I'm not sure if the recorder app has this possibility to rotate. In this case, not. Probably one of the other apps that has the ability then to rotate, like for example the web browser. Where's the web browser? Yeah, the web browser, the internet browser. So let's talk daily report something. It's also not switching. There are some other apps, like 9 other apps that I can add to this. For this I have to open up the device, and then I have like a set of widgets. Widgets we also have here, as you can see here, the normal ones. We have apps that we can add, and here are some apps that I can add. Baidu Maps, for example, TikTok I can add, and Yoku I can add, which is like YouTube. Google Wallet I can add if I want to. I think it makes sense. Let's Google Wallet. Google Maps I can add to, which is quite nice. Google Messages if I want to. Netflix I can even add. And Reddit, and normal TikTok, and Uber, and WeChat, and X. So yeah, there's lots of supported apps. As you can see here, there are more supported apps there. Click on the supported apps title, it will open up, I think its own app market that tells me about applications like the Tesla application, for example, that I can also use, that is supported here. So lots and lots of applications that I can use. Not all applications, sadly, but enough applications to get me through the day, I would say. And I have to unlock fingerprint recognition, of course, if you use the right finger. You can see I can start Reddit, for example, and it's a lab apps statement, so it might be a bit buggy. Okay, I can sign in stuff, would work here. Google Maps I can also use. You can see same warning, can go, of course, get rid of the warning. TikTok, don't show this again, there we go. It's also opening up, and I can use the lock screen pretty much without going into the phone itself, which is quite nice. It's not as sophisticated as I think Samsung's and Motorola's especially, where you can run, I think, almost all the apps. Not sure if there's like an app available for the Find N3 Flip. There was an app available that let you run all the apps, regardless if they're optimized for this kind of display or not, which is quite nice. But let's go out of it. And let's take a look around the device. So I used already the fingerprint sensor. As you can see here, basically both having the same kind of alignment of the buttons. So we have a fingerprint reader there on both. You can see that we have a slightly indented fingerprint reader there on the Huawei, where it's sticking out a little bit more on the Oppo. Then we have the volume rocker, almost the same kind of placement. By the way, thickness and so on, I even think they are almost the same there as well, with the case on. Even without the case on, maybe even the Oppo is a little bit thicker there. So pretty much the same there. Also here the placements of stuff like USB-C port is the same. It's just, I think, USB-C 2.0 here on the Huawei. I'm not sure about the Find N3 Flip. We have 2 loudspeakers here, where we have only one here. We have infrared port here. Here we have a microphone. And on the top, like I said, here it has a Huawei branding there. We don't have an Oppo branding there. And we have an alert slider here on the Oppo, so it can switch between ring mode, silent mode, and vibration, which is quite nice. So I can like switch it, and you will see that it says vibrate now. I can switch it again, it says ring mode, so vibrate and silent. So it's also showing it to you on the outer display. Here on the Huawei, I think, if I'm not completely mistaken, I'm able to do this. I have now playing widget here as well. No, I'm not able to do this here via the outer display at all, like going to silent mode or setting up Wi-Fi or something like this. So I have to really open up the device for doing this. Otherwise, both feature a triple lens, triple camera setup, basically. As you can see here in this rounded kind of thing. I'm just like, why is the camera turning on? Let's see how they compare in terms of size. I think size-wise, they're on par. They're almost the same in terms of size. We have a triple lens setup. IMX 766 here on the Huawei P50 Pocket. It has an ultra wide angle as well, and the third is not a telezoom or something like this, like on the Oppo. The third one is an ultra spectrum camera. What does the ultra spectrum camera do? Yeah, it could help you like finding like dark light. It can find some spots on your face, for example, when you did not put sunscreen on correctly. But no, it's not only for this, it's also like getting more details out of stuff that is very close by, for example. So this helps tremendously with the detail levels on zoom shots even. which is quite nice. And yeah, this helps definitely with improving the photos there. But we don't have a telezoom lens in particular. On the Oppo, however, we have Hasselblad branding there. This, by the way, doesn't have any branding here, but I think it's still Leica. We can open it up and check it out if we go to camera. Because it was still with the cooperation with Leica going on there. Let's go to, where do we see if there's cooperation with Leica? Here, yes, Leica Standard, Leica Vivid, Leica Smooth. So they still had the cooperation with Leica. It's not written in here, is it? Maybe like open up the case and we can see. It's a bit more complicated. There we go. I don't see a Leica branding anywhere. So that's, yeah, one of the last, if not the last devices that had Leica color signs and so on with the Huawei. We have Hasselblad blending here, definitely very prominently on the camera bump. Triple lens setup. We have the successor of the 766 here. I think it's 890 or something like this, 860. Camera sensor here, main camera sensor, both 50 megapixels, I think, both maybe also the same kind of size of the sensor. And we have an ultra wide angle, and we have also a telezoom lens. It's only 2 times tele, but it's definitely something to look forward to. When we open those devices up, you can see they're almost like the same kind of display there. So they have this 21:9 aspect ratio. Both the let's check out the settings, maybe go to something wide so you can see. The cutouts are also very similar on the front-facing camera, but I think a lower resolution here on the Huawei, which only has, I think, 10 megapixels, and we have 32 megapixels here on the Oppo. I think we can also see it here on the Oppo about device. Yeah, it says front 32 megapixels. And here on the Huawei, I just have to go into the front camera and then take a shot. And then I can check it out here as well. And it states, yeah, I think it is 8 megapixels, 9, oh, something like this. So it should be 10 megapixels if I'm not completely mistaken there. ColorOS 13.2. Here we have Emotion UI 13.1, I think, the 13.0 it is. So both pretty interesting. This one here based on Open Harmony OS or Harmony OS. This one based on Android 13, I think still. Yes, Android 13 there we go. We have a Dimensity 9200 here, octa-core, so it's a way newer device that comes with almost the latest and greatest from Dimensity. I think that a MediaTek Dimensity 9300 is the newest device. And here on the Emotion UI, we have Snapdragon 888 actually, because it's on the P50 Pocket, because it's an older device for sure. Crease test. Almost the same. If you have the display on, you don't see it. Let's turn the display off. Yeah, you can see that the crease is much more prominent on the P50 Pocket. As you can see here, I think side by side. There we go. It's almost the same kind of crease, but it's a bit more prominent here because the device is a bit older for sure. They're using a slightly bit of different tech, and when you go here, it's definitely more prominent here on the P50 Pocket. If I scroll with my hand or my finger over content or something like this, that's for sure. But otherwise, it's a pretty comparable device. And yeah, I will test out now. I think the cameras will show you a little bit more about the cameras, the front-facing cameras, and then the back-facing cameras, and then the special mode that allows you to record via the little displays, which is more helpful definitely on the Oppo Find N3 Flip than on the P50 Pocket. But what about the quality and so on? We will check this out definitely. In terms of software and so on, yeah, it depends on what you have. I have 256 gigabyte of storage here. When I go in here and check the storage, is I think 512 gigabytes. Why is this black? Anyway, 512 gigabytes of storage here, so this is a premium version. I think the regular version comes also with 256 gigabytes of storage, so that's pretty nice. In terms of fluidity and so on, you don't notice so much in terms of Snapdragon 888 versus the MediaTek 9200. Only if you render videos, if you play very, very demanding games like Genshin Impact or something like this. This device gets pretty hot. The P50 Pocket with this one keeps it pretty cool, but this throttling, this is also throttling a lot, so they're throttling a lot when it comes to this, and they both have a bit of a heat issue, I would say, because this one doesn't stay as cool as the Find X3 series, Find X6 series, and so on. Find X5 series, so those normal slab phones. Yeah, otherwise I think we should check out the cameras, and then we start also play back a little bit of music to see which one has the better speakers, but I'm more interested in the cameras, you know it already. So we have this camera feature here on the outer display of the P50 Pocket, which allows me to show what I'm seeing right now. Take a picture if I want to. I can like double click to go to the ultra wide angle to see even more, which is quite nice, and just tap for taking the shot, and it has like a nice little animation there before taking the shot, so you have enough time to get the finger out of the way. When I swipe over, I can go into video mode. I still have the same capabilities. First of all, if I want to record something, I should hold it like this. It's also pointing me towards the direction, or even like this, which is also a possibility to hold it like this and then vlog with it if you want to. Or put it like this, which I really like more because this gives me better stability. I have the possibility to click on it, it gives me a timer, and I'm recording now, but I can also double click and it's going to the ultra wide angle, which is also pretty nice. I can also do it via recording, during recording, so I'm recording right now. As you can see here, the timer is running. It will make itself a little bit smaller there, and then double tap to switch to the main camera sensor. Double tap again to switch to the ultra wide angle, which is quite a nice feature on this smallish kind of screen. Now let's check the controls on the Oppo Find N3 Flip. We have basically the normal user interface here for video, where I can switch directly to the ultra wide angle, I can switch to the 1x or even 2x lens if I want to. I can hit the record button to record. I even have a beautification option that I can turn on, retouch on or retouch off. I have the possibility to tap to focus, which is quite nice. And I can also go into photo mode here and also switch to the ultra wide angle 1x or 2x to take some shots, and even portrait mode is available here, which we don't have on the P50 Pocket on the outer display because we don't have so much possibilities there. Yeah, video recording, I probably, it's a bit harder, but I probably would hold it like this as well, and start video recording now. And let's see, is it, those are not switching, the probably because we have rotation turned off. Could it be? So we have to turn on rotation. We can lock rotation. There we go. I have rotation turned on. Actually, we have it on. So let's go to the camera again. Is it rotating? No, it's not rotating those numbers there. It's a bit weird. Anyway, let's start recording. We can see the recording time running there, but I don't have the possibility to zoom in or out. Can I double tap? No. It's just focusing. So I don't have the possibility during recording or with the outer display to switch lenses, which is a bit weird. If I want to show something in the background, for example, I cannot do it. I have to stop recording, switch to the ultra wide angle, and then record again. And I can also not do it there, just double tapping, or can I? It's a bit hard to do it with one hand zooming in somehow, like the zoom, but no, it doesn't have any zoom in features. So this is a bit of a bummer. Nevertheless, let's take a look at the video footage. The P50 Pocket has a 10 megapixel front-facing video shooter on the inside screen, of course, and this is the one that I'm using currently, and it should record in 4K 30 frames per second, which is quite nice that I have the ability to do so. I have the wide angle mode, which I'm using right now, but I can also zoom into 1x, which is like the more traditional kind of way of doing some vlogs eventually. And I like this very much, and I think it's very smooth, and it's a lot better than I would expect for a 10 megapixel front-facing shooter. What do you think about the quality here? This is now the inner front-facing camera of the Oppo Find N3 Flip, 32 megapixels. It can record 4K 30 frames per second, sadly no 4K 60, which is a little bit of a bummer there. We have different zoom options. This is 0.8 times, and I can zoom in to 1x here, as well as even further if I want to show headphones or something like this that I have in my ear, or makeup if you are into this. So 2x zoom is possible, and the largest is 0.8 times, which we have reached now. I'm not sure if we have stabilization, however, because it was turned off on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, and I think here on the Oppo Find N3 Flip we also I don't see stabilization, at least on the screen right now, which might be a big bummer in comparison also to the Huawei P50 Pocket. But what do you think about the front-facing video here? Who's going to use it anyway if you have like the backside facing cameras, especially now with the larger display on the outside of the Oppo Find N3 Flip? The cool thing about the Huawei P50 Pocket is that you have the possibility with the rear-facing cameras and the little display to see yourself. You can turn on a mode where I don't have any controls on the back, but I can at least see myself to position myself the way I want for photos or for videos like this video here, for example, that I'm recording. This is, by the way, a 40 megapixel main camera sensor. So I was a bit, I think, wrong with the IMX766 sensor. I'm not sure what kind of sensor they're using, but they're using a 40 megapixel sensor. As far as I'm aware, RYYB sensor, so it should help with low light situations and so on. We can record 4K 30 or 4K 60 frames per second. So I'm working with 30 timelines, so 4K 30 here for this one. And what I can also do during recording is, of course, switch to the 13 megapixel ultra wide angle that we have, because this one also has the possibility to record 4K 30 and I think also 4K 60. So you see a lot more here about my apartment and this room that I'm in currently, and I can see myself on the display as well. Sadly, what we cannot do is switch to the ultra spectrum camera, which would be very nice to do. But nevertheless, what we can do and try to do is like a little bit of zooming, slide zooming. So we have like a map right there of the world behind us. So what I want to do right now is try to zoom in on this map. So we have a zoom slider here still. One time it switched lenses and now we can zoom in. Let's try to zoom in on the country we are in currently, which is Germany. We have 6 times zoom here. What do you think about this one here? I think it's not very good. A dedicated zoom lens would be a lot better. So now I'm using this larger outer display and the main camera sensors here on the Oppo Find N3 Flip. We have a 50 megapixel main, we have a 32 megapixel telezoom and a 48 megapixel ultra wide angle. On a paper it sounds a lot better than the Huawei, at least in terms of megapixels, and we have newer sensors there as well. But how does it handle light? How does it handle stabilization and so on? What do you think about the video quality? Walking towards the light, it's getting a bit darker there because the sun is shining directly on my face. What do you think about this one here? So yeah, because we have a telezoom lens, it makes sense to zoom in. But first of all, let's go to the ultra wide angle to see how wide it is. 0.6 time. I think it is a little bit wider than the one on the Huawei P50 Pocket. But what do you think about this one here? How good is the stabilization? How good are the colors here? How good is the brightness of everything that you can see here around? What I really like in this mode is that when you start recording, we get a little bit of timer running there that you can see on the outside display as well. Something that Huawei doesn't do, at least in this mode it doesn't do it. And of course we want to step the same position there, try to zoom in a little bit on the world map there. 0.6 times we have now. Let's go into 1 time. It should have switched lenses, and let's go to 2 times. It should have switched lenses, and we can go up to 10 times. I don't think it looks better than the Huawei P50 Pocket, but at least we have the possibility to go and zoom in 10 times. So, and now I am using the main camera sensor of the P50 Pocket in this like closed up state, using the outer display just to show and frame myself. And I can double tap, my daughter is crying for some reason, double tap here to go to the ultra wide angle. Don't worry, I take care of her just in a second. And sadly, what you will see here is we only have 1080p recording, which is a little bit of a bummer because for heat dissipation problems probably, they are switching to 1080p when you're using it in the folded state and only using the cameras there for video recording. A major bummer, I would say, but how does it look on the Oppo? Let's check it out there. So this is now the recording with the main camera sensor on the Oppo Find N3 Flip in the folded state. I figured out that there's a way to switch between the lenses. Just you have to use 2 fingers to swipe in or swipe out. So I can switch to the ultra wide angle here, as you can see here. So this is the ultra wide angle here on the folded state. So it is there, but it's a bit cumbersome. Why not adding buttons there? It would be much easier to do this, especially one-handed if you hold it with one hand. Otherwise I have to use like one hand like this, and I'm not sure when. I think now I'm at 1 times, maybe already 2 times, I don't know. So because it doesn't show it. So it's something that Oppo still has to optimize, I think. Maybe with the ColorOS 14 update they will do it. Otherwise, what do you think about dynamic range here? What do you think about the colors here? And did you notice something? Yes, we also only have 1080p recording here in the folded state. Probably also because of heat issues in the folded state. This is why they're keeping it also at 1080p, 30 frames per second maximum. A bummer. Otherwise it would be very cool for vlogging, especially with this little display there. Actually I like to use both for vlogging, but then I would like turn them around, open them up in an unfolded state. in a folded state 4K recording would be a lot nicer if you know a way how to do it, how to hack it maybe. It's a lot nicer to do because it's more compact, easier to hold than in the phone state. Of course, I can hold it in a phone state or an open state and also vlog and see myself, which is very nice for vlogging for sure. And both feature very, very nice options there as well. But still, this is more compact, would be very, very nice to do so. But nevertheless, they're both on par when you want to use it in a folded state for video recording, where I think the controls, sadly, on the P50 Pocket are a bit better there. Yes, smaller screen, but the controls are more interesting because double tap and it's switching to the ultra wide angle, which is more convenient than this here. Like we have to swipe in, swipe out, which is a bit harder to do. And you have to use another hand for this. I could do this on the on the Huawei P50 Pocket with one hand, just holding this one hand and just double tap on the screen to do some certain actions, which is not possible here, sadly. What's good is, however, that you can reach the volume keys for start and stop recording, so you don't have to tap the little screen to do it, which is, I think, also something they think, I don't know, maybe they can use zoom functions also on those keys. Would be also interesting to know about that. So yeah. Ideas. What do you think about the video quality here on the Oppo Find N3 Flip in comparison to the P50 Pocket? Sound quality wise, I think it's a clear win for the Oppo Find N3 Flip. Yeah, Timmy, you also like it, né? You like me more than the phones, yeah? Do you? Okay. Thank you, Timmy. So the N3 Flip has a more fuller, louder sound for sure, and we have a nicer stereo effect with it. So yes, I think the N3 Flip is winning in terms of audio. What do you think? Write it down in the comments.
Battery wise, we have 4300 mAh on the Oppo, we have only 4000 mAh on the Huawei. The Huawei uses an older Snapdragon processor. Both feature 40 watt wired charging, so they're very quickly in charging, but the Oppo is definitely the winner here in terms of battery, with a longer screen on time, which is like 1 or 2 hours longer than the one on the Huawei, which runs out pretty quickly. So, conclusions. The Flip is a very good flippable phone, probably one of the best currently on the market, but the P50 Pocket is no slouch either. It can keep up, especially with the camera department, which I really, really like. You saw it for yourself in terms of video and some photos that I shot with them. I really like the bigger, larger screen on the Oppo Find N3 Flip, where it's a bit of smallish here on the Huawei P50 Pocket, but they're doing it a little bit better in terms of camera controls for sure, where I like the possibility to have some apps running here outside, especially some chat apps, for example, that you have to frequently chat, or payment apps, or even Twitter or some other apps here on this smallish kind of screen. I really wish that Huawei P50 Pocket would have such thing, or that Huawei would add such a screen, larger screen, to the successor of the Pocket. And also the processor Snapdragon 888 with this slightly heating issues there and also battery life especially is the one where the Oppo is definitely better than the P50 Pocket. Even if they optimize it throughout the years, I think the processor is holding them back a little bit. So really would like to see a better processor, an updated version of the Huawei P series there, the Pocket series in this case. And yeah, we'll see how this will turn out. But for now, the Dimensity 9200, even if the camera features are a bit lacking on the Oppo Find N3 Flip, I think it's a better device currently when you're looking for flip phones. But if you have the choice and you find the Huawei P50 Pocket for a cheap price, especially with the larger internal space there, the possibility to use a nano memory card to extend your memory, this might be a very good, the perfect maybe vlogging device if you only want to use it for vlogging, and you can live with this smallish kind of screen here on the outside. Otherwise, what is your opinion about those two phones? Write it on the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, bye.